A very good morning to you, the viewer of Western Show with me, Farish Majid. And today happens to be Wednesday. I want to take this honor to welcome you aboard from wherever you're watching us from. I want to say welcome aboard of August. That means we are officially kicking off with the regional parliamentary sittings that will be also starting off today. And I hope this will also bring something tangible to the region when it comes to issues of resource mobilization, when it comes to issues of resource allocation. We hope this definitely also really will be having something tangible for the region to benefit from. And yesterday, we did see the leaders also really from the other parts of the country touring Gulu. And I was able to see the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Anita Among, visiting the graveyard, that is of the fallen Speaker, Right Honorable the late Jacob Olokori Olanya, and that is something where we did see him, also them visiting him, and that is actually where we also really pray for his soul to continue resting in eternal. If you talk about the legacy of Jacob Olanya, and that is actually where he will be buried, and he is somebody from Aringa. That is also where we do understand that he will be taken, saying, and nobody whatsoever the case, has nothing to do when it comes to already changing the results of what exactly happened yesterday in there, and that also already locked today. And we shall be coming back to also give you more details in what continues to make rounds also already from that side, because we want to also already say we are looking forward to that, and we are going to be following up on that. And I hope at the end of the day that would also really bring something tangible. And yesterday we were able to also really see now a Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, who actually calls on Olanya, and that's one thing we did see yesterday, and I hope that would actually bring peace, at least some bit of sanity, and also really when it comes to the Parliament in India, because at the end of the day now Parliament is coming closer to the people, and we hope now that people can also really be able to really have time with their legislators. And this is actually a time where now if you have the number of your member of Parliament, call them, tell them this is what we want as a region, you go and talk. Have them accountable. Have them accountable because you are the ones who voted for them. And we shouldn't wait for them to solely come back and start talking to us. We're also joining and boarding the buses in there. But now, we want to see them on ground. We want to have their impact. We want to see in 2026, we are going to be also assessing them through this. We want to see them also be at the forefront and be also in the leading. Now the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Anita Among, has yesterday laid the wreath that is on the grave of her predecessor, that is Jacob Olokori Olanya, that is also in his grave, that is Nomoro district. And this is the first activity the Speaker was engaging, which is ahead of today's official launch at the first regional parliamentary sitting that is taking place in Gulu starting today. And now the late Jacob Olanya died on March 20th of 2022, that is at the age of 56, from the University of Washington Medical Center in Seattle, which is in US in there. And Miss Among also and the late Olanya joined hands in 2021 also for a tenacious bid that defeat Mr. Rebecca Kadaga, whom also the deceased also the first Speaker of 11th Parliament had succeeded in there. And we really want to say that we continue honoring the legacy of Jacob Olanya as a region. Now the rest for 2021 speakership was politically damaging across many fronts, with Mr. Olanya and Mr. Among also taking them with also as the then NRM Secretary General Justin Kasule Lumumba and Speaker and Minister Basis Namuganza to defeat, that is Ms. Kadaga. However, Mr. Olanya could not only hold the reign for about 6 months, as by December 2021, his ill health also could not allow him continue steering the Parliament in there, and that is how eventually we lost him as a nation in there. Now he would also be, by February, he was flown out of the country, where initially he was pronounced dead after some time in there. Now, while Ms. Among had already been implanting also already her footsteps to Parliament, also the top leadership, and it was arguably that partnership with Olanya that also got her into that position in there. And that means also really she has to continue honoring the legacy of that is her predecessor, because really the grounds that she has now could have also been laid by her predecessor in there, and I hope definitely that is where, and that is actually a reason as to why she could possibly have also supported and also joined hands to make sure that the first inaugural meeting comes to Northern Uganda. And I want to say, as Northern Uganda, we are privileged to actually host the first edition of the regional parliamentary sittings. And we are now waiting for the deliberations that will be coming out of there, and I hope they will be fruitful ones, and they will be also the ones that will be bringing tangible results to the region, because looking at the issues pertaining to the Northern Disease Syndrome, come to poverty, the LRA war victims, they are still demanding, and we hope definitely in these sittings, these matters will be brought to the floor of Parliament, and that is where we are going to be taking a short commercial break. and we still have lots more to discuss in relation to this regional parliamentary sitting, because all our focus and all our eyes are in Gulu City, which is actually the biggest, I should say, the biggest capital also really when it comes to northern Uganda, and followed by Arua City. And that is actually something, that's a matter of debate, and we leave it entirely to you. Definitely also really make that judgment in there, but that is how we look at it, and we hope definitely we are not making any wrong judgments in there. For now, we are going to be taking a short commercial break that will be ushering us into more of the discussions, and stay tuned.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and limited passion. West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back. We hope you are having a great time. And I know you must be excited because as Northern Uganda, we are privileged to be hosting, that is the regional parliamentary assembly. Then that shouldn't also really be a source of worry to the other regions, because this same exercise will be extended to all the regions of this country, where we shall be seeing Masaka City hosting it for Central Uganda. Western will be given to Mbarara City, and then Eastern will be taken to Mbale City. And we hope all that will be bring development also really where these regions have to benefit from these issues of the regional parliamentary sitting, because in each, I don't have taxpayers' money worth 20 billion. I will be going with that. Should we make it also really useless? That is how we are going to be getting our 20 billion in there, because looking at 20 billion, many people have been making analysis of what exactly this will be doing, and really I don't understand that this would actually build a lot of infrastructure. That is where many people are now saying this money should have also been put into infrastructure development, for instance in roads, in health sector, and also really in many other facilities in there. But we are saying all in all, it is happening, and we cannot run away from it now, because it is what is really happening right now. I believe boycott would also really mean a lot when it comes to leaving our issues outside. And I wouldn't want to call for boycott, but I hope definitely, if at all the opposition groups are going to be withholding and also withdrawing from this, definitely they have a reason as to why they are doing that. And that is really where entirely I will be leaving the discussions also, hopefully, to the guests also who will also be discussing that. If not today, on Friday, they will be also here to really make that discussion when it comes to this issue here. But that is where we are not going to be leaving our discussions for today aside with. We still have lots more to discuss with you. And remember, it being also the rainy season, I really want to say people of this region, more so those living along the banks of River Nile, should be also really ready for negative calamities that may also affect them there. But we are able to also see pictures happening elsewhere of people's houses are being destroyed. That is for those who have been living along the banks and also along the showers, also really of these different rivers. But we are saying for those in Western sub-region, in districts of Bongi, Moyo, we are saying, Madiokolo, we are saying you must make sure that at least you are really living in a place that is of higher altitude, so that sorry, when these things happen, you are not affected. And not forgetting those in Amuru, because Amuru also on the other part are also being affected by the river as well, plus many other local governments also in the northern part of this country in there. We are saying this also really this shouldn't also really take us by surprise. We must be ready, because the rising water levels is indeed posing a risk threat, that is to destruction of property, such as houses, and also life as well, because if people drown, by yesterday we were able to see one person who tried to also really swim a river. This is in Western Uganda, also drowning in there. But we are saying we must not take the risk of also swimming through these rivers, because we do not know the depth, and we do not as well know the speed at which these rivers are flowing. And that is where I want to say, with the rising water levels, we want to also really assure you that we are not going to be also really talking about that. If at all you abide by our call, that is for safety, because safety starts with you, and that is where we are always saying the safety of your life being must start with you. It calls for individual responsibility, so that sorry, you are not left out, and that is where we are going to be leaving that discussion aside, and now turning our eyes back to Gulu City, where the regional parliamentary sittings are ongoing. I want to say Anita Mong actually came out to say yesterday that Parliament can sit anywhere. And really, that is actually where many people have been raising doubt that why has Parliament moved? And that is where maybe people have been asking her questions. And I hope now she says that Parliament can actually sit anywhere. And could this be justified that by sometimes, if at all, we have also the issues of national importance, they have been taken to Kololo independence grounds? Could that be a reason as to why? And how big is the size of the Parliament? How many members of Parliament can fit in that house? Definitely, these are questions already I feel needed to be also looked into, as we also look at that matter of her saying that Parliament can actually sit anywhere. And now the Parliament also of the Republic of Uganda, that is Right Honorable Anita Mong, has described members of Parliament also who intended to boycott the regional parliamentary sittings as losers, as saying also the House can conduct plenary from anywhere. Now she's calling those who are planning to boycott as losers. And now the planned parliamentary sittings also really opened on Tuesday with multiple also field activities, including visit that's for the burial grounds that's of former late speaker, that's Jacob Olanya, which I earlier talked about as Memorial District, among also led the parliamentarians through series also of activities, included also opening of medical camp that is at Peche Primary School in Gulu City, and the groundbreaking also among also and foundation laying for the construction of a well fence that is around Kaunda grounds, and as well as separate meetings with border stations and vendors also in there. And that's also where we did see a meeting with market women groups, and we hope all this will be coming at least with some bit of hope for those who had already lost the hope in northern Uganda in there, so that sorry nobody does not at all benefit from this, because we want to ensure that all of us get to benefit from this regional parliamentary sittings. And now she further explained that the regional sittings are meant to bring parliament closer to the people, and the funds also already are meant for sittings we are budgeted for during also the parliament also in there, and we hope that also really should be the reality in there. Now earlier on, while visiting Olanya's family, among noted also that the law permits also parliament to hold plenary anywhere, and also that's where she came out to also make a conversion in. Now a section of lawmakers, especially from opposition group, also led by also that's Zoe Sunyi, who are now threatening to also withdraw from that. But we are following up today, and really today where we did see also that is Zoe Sunyi, the leader of opposition in parliament, also the Sado cabinet member, making that plea recently. But we did see also some members of parliament, that's from the National Platform Party, more so those from Masaka affiliated to the other group, also really claiming that they're going to be still part of this regional parliamentary sitting. We hope when they come, they also bring something forward also when it comes to the region benefiting, because I was able to also see the man in the names of Abed Bwanika from Kabinera also in there coming out to also say this was also an individual call, not also a call of the party. Definitely they not agree on that as opposition. Definitely they will be also attending that. But we are saying he is not the only one. Many also came out and say they are going to be attending. And we do understand many who actually did not also confirm that they will be attending still will be attending in this regional parliamentary sitting. But we hope definitely they bring something also tangible when it comes to issues also that they will be discussing also in there. And that is where we are going to be looking also in that. And we hope at the end of the day, when the 3 days also elapse, the results also will be benefiting the northern Uganda, which has for long been submerged. And that is where we have been seeing our leaders saying for long, we have been left out when it comes to issues of electricity, when it comes to issues of compensation, when it comes to issues pertaining many other issues. And that is where we are saying we now want to also see how this will be also happening in there. Now, group parliamentary sitting to prioritize northern Uganda issues, but what are those regional issues that we feel also northern Uganda should be also affronting? Now, the regional parliamentary sittings, which start today, also will be opening plenary sitting. With plenary sitting opening, will prioritize also the critical issues affecting the development of northern Uganda. And on Tuesday, Parliament of Speaker Right Honorable Anita Among told journalists that the Gulu sitting will be also expect to tackle matters that have for long been affecting northern Uganda. For instance, issues of animal compensation, the apart land conflict in Ajumani between the Amuru between the Acholi of Amuru and the Madi of Ajumani, which has for long been unanswered. We hope also this matter still will be brought before the floor of Parliament today. And we hope also for now, for once and for all, this matter now be answered. If at all APA belongs to the Madi, definitely we should de-gazette it, and we say it is now in Madi land. If at all it is also really for the Acholi, we say it belongs to the Acholi, because for long this matter has caused a lot of bloodshed. And I hope definitely this is where we also need to also turn our focus to what about the issue of northern disease syndrome, which has for long affected the people of northern Uganda, the children more so who have also been hit by that disease in there. And we hope also really still our members of parliament will be putting focus on this matter when it comes to issues of resource allocation, when it comes to issues of debate. That is where I feel at the end of the day that should also come also with the plus also for the people of this region. And now on Tuesday, the Speaker of Parliament, that is Right Honorable Anita Among, also told that journalists, and she actually mentioned those areas that I didn't mention to you earlier on. And according to her, several parliament committees which recently traversed the region are supposed to also table their reports on findings. And remember, recently we have been seeing several committees. Parliamentary Accounts Committee was recently here, and we did see them also already squeezing the different leaders also from the different local governments of northern Uganda, we are able to also see the leaders answering others who I believe were not doing their works transparently, we are quaking. But for those who are confident enough, whom also I believe they had organized themselves for this, we are able to see them answering with a lot of confidence. And really you'll be able to also realize that some of these local governments were asked to actually move to Kampala and also really answer their questions already in there, which was really something I believe wasn't right. Because for those who did not exhibit transparency, they were asked to actually move to Kampala to also really make sure they file their complaints in there. But that was something which we did see happening. And we hope at the end of the day that would also really bring also development. Now the State Minister for Northern Uganda, Dr. Kenneth Omona, is expected also to present a report on the major issues blocking the development in Northern Uganda. That is per the other plan. We hope definitely he understands Northern Uganda. We hope also the matters. He will bring must touch Northern Uganda parts from Karamoja. We want issues that also really affect Arua. We want issues that affect Gulu. We want issues that have been affecting Kotido. All be presented before the floor of Parliament, so that solely our matters will be addressed. Now, while the Sectoral Committee on Physical Infrastructure will hold a presentation that's on the state of transport, that's solely infrastructure, with bridges solely now looking at the roads infrastructure. One of those areas that you can hardly not talk about is the Karuma Bridge, which has also already been an issue of concern. Now we hope also the members of Parliament whom I believe have passed over also the bridge should deliberate on these issues, because looking at that also that is where we have been seeing a lot of issues also happening, and many people have been talking about infrastructure development in Northern Uganda, but we hope all in all they will be deliberating on these issues. Now that's also where another is supposed to be discussed, included that's the Secretary Committee on Tourism, Trade, and also regarding the set of prospects and also how Northern Uganda can thrive in tourism, because really I believe as Northern Uganda we have a number of potential tourism also opportunities that have not been untapped. But how do we tap into these opportunities that also present also for tourism in this region? Looking at the Jai Game Reserve, come to West Nile, looking at Maracha, move in there, you will find that we have Mirador Falls, we have Auluko Falls, we have all these facilities. Mountain Wat is there, but these facilities are not highly tapped into. How do we make sure that we also make sure that we benefit from this? What about the solar eclipse monument that was in Pakwach? Many people are not visiting that. Many people don't know about it. We have forgotten it. But how do we make sure that these facilities remain potential tourism sites where we can be able to solely attract tourists from Western Uganda, where we want tourists from Central Uganda, where we want people to come from Eastern, where we want people to come from Northern Uganda to visit that facility? How do we make sure that all these facilities also really bring money for the local governments? Because looking at tourism today, it is actually one of Uganda's highest income also really earners. And you're looking at also really the foreign exchange also in there, you'll be able to realize that tourism actually has a great contribution to this country's economy in there, because we have foreign tourists and now we also talk about domestic tourism. How do you make sure that we tap into all these opportunities? And this is where I feel at the end of the day, we must make sure that we all join hands to make sure that during this regional parliamentary sittings, we bring that issue forward. And we want to make sure that also the committee also that will be bringing these matters also do not only leave also the issues when it comes to Northern Uganda, but they must be at the forefront where issues pertaining Western sub-region, where issues of Acholi, where issues of Lango, where issues of Karamoja, where issues of our neighbors Teso and Sabei must as well be presented. So that we get to benefit also in this initiative also in there. Now the Sector Committee on Education also and Sports will table a report on the state of public universities, tertiary institutions, city secondary schools, and public sports facilities in Northern Uganda. Today we do not have a stadium as also of Northern Uganda, despite plans of elevating some into also the national stadiums. But after nothing is happening, look at what is happening with the Kibwa Stadium. It remains like that, despite also really money also really being allocated, approval also really being done here and there. But what exactly happened? The program just remained like that. Up to now, we are still following up on. We want to see that facility be elevated to the status of Namboli. We want to see it elevated to also St. Mary's, like St. Mary's Stadium, and that would make us proud. Certainly, our boys who are in the region could also as well as benefit from also the sports facilities in there. Now, come to West Nile. Arua would not have a stadium except one that is being constructed in Leju. That is actually what is also in there, despite Arua City also still Arua Stadium also still standing. We are still seeing, we do not know when it will exactly climax, we do not know why it's stalled, we do not understand why the program is not moving on, because we don't have any answers in relation to that. And there's nobody you're going to be asking when it comes to also the stadium of Arua Hill, which will make us proud. And I believe which will also act as another potential tourism site, also still standing the way it is. For years now, for months, we are seeing no construction work done. No answers are being made. We do not know when the work will be able to resume. That is how sad it is. But really we are saying when it comes to sports infrastructure, if we had all the stadiums, I believe as Northern Uganda, we have the talent. Most of our boys do not also have a sea exposure just because we do not have the sports infrastructure. And that is how our talent also of the boys are dying. And if at all we also embarked on constructing what we call these regional stadiums, this would also actually, to me, generate a lot of opportunities for these young boys who may be also going through unemployment. Many could actually be employed directly and indirectly under the sports sector, as footballers, as agents, as coaches, and not forgetting also as kidsmen. All these are opportunities also that lie in the sports sector in there. And if at all we want to benefit from all these opportunities, then as government, we must prioritize developing stadiums, because I believe as Northern Uganda, we have the talent. Looking at also the boys there, at least you'll be able to realize that at least in Northern Uganda, each of the regions is represented by a player in the national team, which has also been a bit competitive. Today, we are also talking about our boys featuring in there. That means if at all we want to see more of our boys featuring that's on the national scene, then we must embark on constructing more stadiums. And I believe that would actually address the issues of what we call the regional sports stadiums. And that is where we would also want to see Uganda Cranes at one time moving to also host matches in Northern Uganda. We want to see also Uganda Cranes playing in Arua. For those who do not have the opportunity to travel to Kampala, would come from Terego, from Obongi, from Madiokolo, from Ajumani, from Moyo, from Maracha, from Zombo, from Nebi, to also watch these games at a really a bit also at a minimal cost also in there. And unlike also the games being in Central every time, really, many of us have been left out. And if at all also other regions also have their stadiums, and I believe that would also make sure that we also really see sports developing in this country in there. Now, Gilbert Olanya, the Kilaki County Member Parliament, said, I am confident that all questions of people in Northern Uganda will be solved, and people with nodding disease have been suffering and dying 20 years on the road, and this matter as well as will be also addressed. Now, the regional parliamentary sittings are expected to cost Ugandans, that is a shillings of 20 billion. That's where we do understand that money comes entirely from taxpayers, but definitely we are saying we expect the outcomes. We are looking forward into the outcomes of what we call these regional parliamentary sittings. And we are saying those legislators from this region who for long have been keeping quiet, because you realize that the country sometimes even do not know some of our members of parliament. They do not even know that some of these MPs exist from Northern Uganda. You realize that also you mentioned the constituency, now somebody is asking, where is this one from? Where do we find this constituency? That means as a member of parliament from this region, you have not been active. Then this is the time for you to shine. And this is where I want also to see the microphone beyond by at least our legislators. We want to see it being passed from this. I want to see the Speaker of Parliament saying, I want to see pass this to that colleague who also should be coming from this, and that will make us proud. But if that is not going to be the case, our eyes are on ground. We are definitely going to be informing the voters that when we have the opportunity to address our problems, you were quiet. You were not anywhere to be seen. If at all you also front outside the country, still we want to see your input wherever you are, and also that would make us answer the question, because we are here to hold you accountable. And as voters, it is actually our mandate to actually demand from you to also go and lobby, because you are also our representative in there, and that is where we are going to be holding you accountable. And our judgments are going to be very, very much influenced by these regional parliamentary sittings. And that is where I want to ask each and our MPs from this region to make sure that they are going to be owning this regional parliamentary sitting. And that's where we're going to be leaving a discussion aside with, as we just left about 5 minutes. And yesterday we also were able to see news circulating of Forum for Democratic Change, Katonga faction, registering and also going to be launching a new political party. And really this matter has been there, and we now want to see how this will be going on. Really, if at all they continue to also really establish their new political party now. How is that going to be weakening? That's the Forum for Democratic Change party. Because at least in the last general election, we did see them being weakened by us, where we did see NUP taking the pride of being the leading opposition group that is in Uganda following the 2021 general election, because the assessment is entirely made by the fact and also by the numbers of many opposition groups you take to parliament. And we are able to also see NUP taking that pride from also the FDC. Now that Dr. Kiza Besigye faction picks new name as FDC cements divorce, and that's where we are now seeing at least 12 members also really from also really ran high also yesterday as members of the Forum for Democratic Change Party breakaway also the faction met at their Katonga base to commence the registration of members ahead also of the formation of new party in 6 months, and that is where we are going to be seeing them in the next 6 months, because we have left about 15 months to the next general elections, and now out of the 15 remaining months, we are saying the 6 will be used, that is for the party also really to finalize on registration of their new party, and that's where we did see 12 members of parliament, including the former leader of opposition, that's Wafula Gutu, the former Rukungiri District Commander MP Ingrid Nawe, former also Kyoga MP, that's Bileo Ojok, and we do have Albert Charles Okelo Oduman. Yesterday submitted also a letter to the Electoral Commission reserving their name also colors and as well as slogan for their newly established, that's People's Front for Freedom Party, which is going to be PFF. That is actually the new political party we are going to be seeing ahead of 2026 general election. And other members, we are Stanley Tugume Katembea, we do have Sarah Nsengendo Basima, we do have Susan Nanyonjo and Ronald Samuel Wanda, not forgetting Kenneth Geoffrey Opoka, Jen Lubega Nakasholia and Proskovia Kunihira and Anne-Marie Mutesi, who are part of the new also the establishment of the PFF party that we are looking forward to. Will it pick the attention of everybody as Forum for Democratic Change did under its blue colors and the slogans? That is definitely something we are going to be keeping our eyes on ahead of 26 general elections, where I hope I will be also still letting you know what exactly transpires in the next also coming days. And I hope, if at all the party is established, what color will it be? The name is now clear. What is the slogan going to be like? These are issues that we are going to be following up. Because if you look at the Forum for Democratic Change, the One People, One Uganda slogan really attracted many people. It actually took many people also by the attention in there and took many people's attention and attracted many to the party. And then looking at the blue color, for long it was people's favorite. And also really where now we can also really bring that matter to debate, if at all we make comparisons of blue and yellow in opposition, blue and red in opposition. That is now a matter of discussion and a matter of debate on which party today enjoys the majority of people's attention in that. But we can still also see this party, PFF, launching also really anytime from now. We are going to be following up on that, because in the next 6 months, they are going to be making arrangements of their party colors and also really party members, because they need to understand who exactly will be at the helm also really of this new development. Now the entire development comes a few days after the FDC Kantonga faction held the National Delegates Conference, where they pronounced to dissolve, that is the Forum for Democratic Change Party unanimously, and that followed also their agreement also really move and away from that party in there. And that leaves the party to now the National Kumi bloc. How will this impact ahead of the party when it comes to the 6th general election? Because at least I believe each of these members has their following that also really believes in them and the Forum for Democratic Change. Because looking at the Katonga faction, we have prominent leaders like Dr. retired Kano Kiza Besigye, we have Ibrahim Semujunganda, Arias Lukwago, and many, many others. But now come to Katonga, come to Nathan Kumbisori, you will realize that Patrick Amurato Boy is at the forefront, Nathan Andana Mafabi group, and many others are still also part of that. How will this impact on the followers of Forum for Democratic Change Party ahead of 26? Shall we see them taking the majority pride, regaining it? Definitely, we do not know, but we are keeping our eyes on ground. We shall be letting you know when the right time comes. For now, we are going to be taking a short commercial break that will be ushering us into our next hour, which will be starting from 8, that is 9 o'clock, and thereafter other interesting programs will be following up on. Today is a Wednesday, and really I want to take this opportunity to welcome and thank whoever started the discussions with us, that is right at the hour 7 o'clock until this.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and Limited Passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Break. Earlier on, we are discussing issues pertaining, that is the new political party that will be abbreviated as a PFF. Will it pick the attention of the others, like how the other parties did it? Definitely, we are leaving it entirely to the voters and to electorates out there to also make sure that they also maybe join them, because to join any political party is really a constitutional mandate. You are entitled to any political party of your interest. That is how the Constitution already guarantees the citizens' rights in there. But we are going to be leaving that discussion aside, and I was earlier on telling you how this also will be happening, and now we didn't see that happening, and I gave you a hint in relation to that, and we're now going to be following up on that, and that is where we shall be seeing now also the political very many political parties. Besides that, we shall be seeing a National Foundation Party, National Revival Coalition, People Power Front, Shine Uganda. We shall be seeing political parties like National Agrarian Party, as well as National Economic and Redemption Party, and Uganda Prosperity Party as well being registered, and People's Front for Freedom. All these are looking forward to be registered ahead of 2026 general elections, and that means we are going to be seeing very many political parties, if at all these are going to be registered, because at least in the pipeline we have about 8. And then with the existing ones, you definitely will be making that mathematics to see how many political parties we shall be seeing ahead of 2026 general elections. But that is where we're saying, if at all you feel like joining any political party, it is actually a constitutional mandate. You are entitled to joining any, whether you want to join NRM, whether you want to join NUP, whether you want to join FDC, where you want to join any of these emerging political parties. Still, we are saying that is your business, that is your opinion, and that is where you feel you should be able to join, and you also already have the mandate of joining that, and that is where we're going to be leaving that discussion aside as we get move on with the stories. And remember, earlier on, we are also already talking about the regional parliamentary sittings, where anytime from now we shall be also joined by guests, and they will be also making us understand what this will bring to the region. Because if I talk about the regional parliamentary sittings right now taking place in Gulu City, we want to understand what does it bring on table for northern Uganda. That is where we are going to be also making that discussion also shortly from now, as we look forward to be joined by them, and they will be also making us understand that as we now go on. Remember, recently people have been also arrested when it comes to issues of corruption, and that also caused a number of riots in Uganda today, where we're seeing march to parliament protests against corruption, but now we are seeing Justice Jane Okuo Kajuga, one of the anti-corruption also division also of High Court judges, also on Tuesday, dangled alternative dispute resolution mechanism to former Trade Ministry accounting officer, that's Geraldine Sali, and 3 other members of parliament facing a raft of corruption-related charges. And Ms. Sali, along with MPs Michael Mwanda Wamuchu Wamudumi and Paul Akamba, we are appearing before the court to be formally charged, and Judge Kajuga urged them to consider a plea bargain. That means under a plea bargain, your sentences may be lessened, and if at all, maybe also you can't also refund them. That is also where the cases are definitely, the punishments are usually not huge. In now, the alternative dispute resolution mechanism is the new also the hot cake that the judiciary has tied to gravel, and that is where we are seeing the legal caressing to its parties to legal disputes to save courts also time and ease case backlog, and that is how we are seeing also this matter also developing in there now. But the suspects, who also included city lawyer Julius Kiria and senior cooperatives officer, that is Leonard Kivundirika, are determined to shake also the dock. They pleaded not guilty, and the charges already will be also unfolding in there. And we hope when the right time comes, definitely we shall be also joining them to also make sure these matters are understood in there. Now, these arrests follow extensive investigation by the Inspectorate of Government, which is the body that is mandated to actually assess corruption cases in this country and to make sure that there's no corruption in this country. And that means these members of parliament now the PS, that Geraldine Sali also now will be appearing and also opt for plea bargain. That is where we're going to be seeing them also, if at all, they will be sentenced for 10 years. The cases may be less than to 6 years and the plea bargain in there. And that is one thing also where we shall be seeing that. And I believe that is actually going to be saving the government also really from also making sure that we do not also really waste a lot of taxpayers' money, because looking at wasting taxpayers' money as a result of that, many people have been going through a lot of challenges where government has lost a lot of resources. And today, when we talk about the anti-corruption protests in this country, many have actually been caused as a result of corruption in this country. But we are saying, is it the right time for government to also come out to make sure these matters are addressed? Because recently during the presidential address, the head of state actually said, indeed, corruption exists in Uganda. We take a break where we shall be joined by guests, and we want to talk about the regional parliamentary sittings. What does it bring forward for West Nile, Northern Uganda at large? We are taking a short commercial break, and we shall be joined by Obindu Jackson, a political activist, and also really Lomori Victor Vidal. He is the councillor representing people of Pangisha, and he also doubles as Deputy Speaker for Central Division. And we shall be joined by them, where they will be making us understand what this brings forward for Northern Uganda, and should we also really boycott it, as also already called upon by the shadow cabinet also in the, and that entirely will be unfolding in the next hour. And as we move on with the show after this short commercial break, my name is Farish Majid. Stay tuned as we bounce back shortly.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium, Channel 259 and Channel 246. Starting this August 15th. Subscribe to Star Times Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. Star Times Football and limited passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium, Channel 259 and Channel 246. Starting this August 15th. Subscribe to Star Times Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. Star Times Football and limited passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Well, our focus is still in Gulu, where we shall be talking about the regional parliamentary sittings that start today until the 30th in there. We want to see how this is also going to benefit the region and also the entire country in there, because this is going to be the very first time, and I believe each and every time something new comes up, definitely we expect a lot. And what is that as Northern Uganda we should be expecting as a result of these regional parliamentary sittings that already started today, and we shall be seeing this going on at Kaunda grounds. But we in Arua City want to make an assessment of what exactly this also will be bringing forward to the poor of this region. And now I'm joined by two youth. Definitely today when we talk about the youth, they are the majority, and Arua City as also will be hosting also what we call and commemorating what we call the region, the Youth Day celebrations. Definitely that is why also today I chose to bring youth, because they are the majority population, and as we are getting close to 2026, they have to play a great role when it comes to issues of shaping this country. And I'm joined by Lomori Victor. He is the councillor representing Pangisa, and he also doubles as the Deputy Speaker for Central Division. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much, Moderator, for having me here. Good morning, Westlanders. Good morning, Ugandans. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming through. And I also do have Obindu Jackson, a politician and a political activist. You're most welcome.
Hey, thank you very much, viewers, for this program, and thank you very much, Mr. Fariz, for inviting me for this program.
Now, without wasting any time, I want to start with Victor. Why must we be happy about this regional parliamentary sitting? What opportunity is it bringing for Northern Uganda at large? And what do you think our members of parliament needed to front as a focus on for people of Northern Uganda? What do you think is there for us to demand in this regional parliamentary sitting? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I want to begin by saying that the regional sittings are, first of all, a new initiative, something that has never happened. It is for the first time of this kind since Uganda was independent by the United States. And I want to say it is a unique opportunity for people to see Parliament. You know, Parliament is supposed to be people-centered, okay? And when they say people-centered, it means it must be pro-people, okay? Then two, of course, there are a lot of issues that are being raised about the regional sittings. But I want to state here clearly, as a deputy speaker, I very well know even that the Rules of Procedure and Local Government Act allows the speaker to locate and decide where Parliament can sit or council. The law allows it, by the way. So I hear people saying illegal. It's not illegal.
So does that support Speaker Anita Mong's say that the speaker, the Parliament can be held anywhere?
Exactly. What happens is, today, if you follow, the speaker is going to declare Kaunda grounds precincts of Parliament. That's what happens. That is why when the president wants to address Parliament, they go and sit in Kololo. You're getting it? So when they go and sit in Kololo, you just know that before the speaker says anything, the speaker declares that ground where they are sitting
as Parliament.
They declare that precinct as Parliament, then they will proceed. Now let me go to your issue that you raised, that what are the opportunities and maybe what issues our leaders can raise. There are very many issues. First of all, we have Pakwach Bridge here. We need a new Pakwach Bridge. We have Karuma. We need a new bridge there. Now, the good thing with this regional sitting, all the local leaders, by the way, local leaders, cultural leaders, every stakeholder has been invited to go to Gulu, by the way, facilitated by Parliament. Okay? Now, this is the only time that people are going to interact with their leaders directly. Because you see, sitting in Parliament in Kampala is not a bad thing, but not every stakeholder will have an opportunity to go and interact with their leaders. Because now here, you have religious leaders, you have cultural leaders, you have other stakeholders who are going to interact with their leaders one-on-one before they go for those plenary sessions. Now, to me, that is a plus. Okay? Because not everybody has an opportunity to attend the Parliament, even if you go to Parliament. That one that sits in Kampala. For you to go there, sometimes even you may not have space to sit in the gallery. So one, the opportunity is that people have an opportunity to first bring critical issues issues of roads, issues of... Now, we are talking about West Nile being connected to the national grid. But most of our key infrastructures are not connected. Talk about schools, government institutions, talk about health center facilities, talk about government offices, districts, sub-counties, talk about churches, mosques. This is what we needed it to happen, that by this time we needed connectivity in all these big institutional infrastructures, which has not happened, which is something that needs to be raised. Now I'm just giving you cases where there are very important issues that we can address. Roads, look at Goli. That road that is bringing a lot of money per day, that road needs to be tarmacked. This is the only opportunity that the members from West Nile can put spirited fight, since it is in the northern region, to ensure that these things are done. And mention other issues, other critical issues that we need to address, issues of education and others. But I can assure you that this is a plus for the business people.
So should we expect any tangible result out of the sittings? As also really recently opposition came out to say this is a waste of taxpayers' money. 20 billion will be going in these regional sittings.
No, well, they may term it wasteful because it's not going to be beneficial to them right now. But how about when it is going to sit in their region? Will they call it wasteful? I want us to understand that these regional sittings will not only stop here. It is only starting in the northern Uganda, but that 20 billion they're talking about is going to sink in the local economies of those regions. Right now, I can tell you, Gulu especially, everything is working right now.
Okay.
Everything. People who are selling food, people who are in the hotel, even transport business, people in the bar industry, everything is working. Okay. So people should not be saying it is wasteful just because it has not come to their turn. Okay. And if they say it is wasteful, why did they approve it?
Okay. That's
yes.
where I now want to engage in Mr. Obindu Jackson. Recently, Shadow Cabinet came out to make a call that opposition groups should shun these regional parliamentary sittings on grounds of it being a wastage of taxpayers' money. What can you say about this?
I think, thank you very much. I think the first question on Ugandans must ask themselves is, why are these regional sittings there? Why does the Speaker prefer, together with the hack legs, to have these regional sittings? Then too, are these sittings there, the program of Parliament, the strategic planning of the Parliament before? Or it has never been there? Then three, people must ask themselves questions that maybe who are the guests who are invited for, apart from MPs, who are other guests that are invited for these regional sittings? You'll find, to me, I brand a political move. Because one, if 5 billion is spent in one region, that's a hearsay. But accordingly, nobody even knows the budget. There may be bigger budget than that. If you go to see this people's order paper, see what is on order paper, as per the clerk's statement yesterday. What is on that order paper? These are the following things on the order paper. There's medical camp, there's tree planting, there's laying foundation stone at Kaunda grounds, there's meeting Gulu border riders, there's meeting women market vendors, addressed by the president, official dinner, then preliminary sittings. Now, if you can ask the first question here, if Ugandans can ask the question, they said these are regional parliamentary sittings. Now, is Mr. President, His Excellency President Museveni, is he an MP, a member of parliament? Why should he be there? This is why Ugandans must go and know there is something bigger than regional sittings. Why should Mr. President be there?
But we have seen him on several occasions addressing Parliament.
Exactly. He addresses Parliament, but why should he come to these regions?
Is there any difference between this regional parliamentary sitting with Parliament in Kampala? What is the difference?
Extremely.
Because the Speaker said Parliament can be held anywhere.
Look here. See, these people, Parliament has turned to be an NGO as donors. Because meeting these women in the market, automatically these Ugandans are already trained. When you already meet them, there's something small you give for them. In the real August house, do you do the same? You don't do that. That's number one. Number two, when these people are going to meet these brother riders, they still need also to give something for these brother riders. Do they do the same in the August house? They don't do that.
Okay.
Number three,
No, the sole purpose of this, according to the organizers, is to bring Parliament closer to the people.
Exactly.
If
Even
they are meeting these market vendors, could it justify the fact that we are bringing Parliament closer to the people?
you see, they are so incompetent of the member of Parliament that they were elected in those constituencies. Because a vocal and an advocating member of Parliament will always advocate for his constituency. So, in fact, the role of Parliament, the reason why Parliament has been put there, Speaker in other words trying to defy it, is trying to show incompetence of these members of Parliament. That's why most of the MPs in West Nile, they are not going to go there. Majority of them. And I read the news today. They said people who are trying to protest in Igulu today, the ring that comes from is one of the MPs from West Nile. Now, if you see this 5 billion, have you ever gone to Acholi?
Yes.
When I was traversing for UFMP race, Acholi has only tarmac road in 2 districts. In Inoya here, it's only the road that passes to Kampala. I think Acholi is the most poorest people. West Nile, they can laugh because at least they have tarmac roads here. Actually, if you follow, there's a district called Agago. If you come from Patongo to a place called Kalongo, if it rains like this today, you will not go with a vehicle. Health centers there. And when I was going there, we found they are transporting dead body on bicycle. I thought that Solis would advocate for this, especially northern Ugandans in general. Then, another question is, do you think the issues that affect people in Igulu are the same who affect the issues in Obongi? Why do you brand it as regional sit-in for northern Uganda? Why don't you brand it as sit-in for Gulu?
Is it a political gesture?
It's a political gesture. President Museveni is 80 next month. Museveni knows 2 months for campaigning will be marathon. Museveni is trying to use the tactics. That's why they organize Thanksgiving ceremonies. And he cannot miss. I've ever seen him missing. Last time he was here for Nyamtoro's Thanksgiving. He's always for Thanksgivings, and he's doing campaigns, and yet the Bobo is held. This is count way towards Bobo is held. Now, these regional sit-ins. Wait, these regional sit-ins now, they are to meet these decision makers of the region. Especially, now after he has met a tourist region in Gulu, I know there's going to be one for West Nile in Arua. I know the same. And there's going to be one for Karamoja and what? In Moroto. I know. He's not going to stop there. That's why Museveni is going to be there personally. He wants to get engagement with these people.
Okay.
So there's more than this. And secondly, these people are trying to test depths of waters. They want to have sub-regional parliaments.
So should we expect,
in the future,
should we expect any positive?
Maybe the positivity.
In your own analysis.
Yes, the positivity that we expect is the MPs have turned to be tourists now. Some of these MPs who have good dressing, like my brother Victor here, there will be, people will see them there. So these MPs from Ankole, many of them have not been seen, so there will be tourists there now. Okay. So I think that's the only positive thing. And another positive thing is people seeing an among, hey, the woman who has been stealing the money, she's now here. People will be seen alive.
Let me first put you on hold.
Thank you.
Now let me come to Victor. Opposition is terming this as a political move. Yesterday I was able to hear Semu Junganda saying this is actually a gesture by President Museveni to move around, and all this is coming to make sure that he gets closer to the people before 2026 general elections. I want to say that. Now, why is it now that these regional parliamentary sittings are coming at a time where the country is grappling with challenges of corruption, challenges of poverty? Why now?
You see,
is the timing right?
I want to talk from an informed point of view. People like my brother here, Jackson, who is making a lot of noise. I want to tell you, these people are looking for political clout. There is nothing new these people are bringing on the table. That is one.
You will be answering to that.
Two, I want to tell you, these regional sittings, is Jackson aware that it was approved by the same parliament that he is criticizing right now?
But we have seen commissioners awarding, being approved.
Look here. Look here. You looked at.
We have seen scenarios.
You looked at the court ruling.
The court ruling, which is a bit also really being doubted.
No,
it's being doubted.
The court ruling was looking at the legality of the payment.
Okay.
I want people should raise questions on the moral issue. There, I will agree with you. Okay. But on the legal bit of it, no. Now, all these programs that Parliament is undertaking right now. First of all, I want to tell you, every committee in Parliament and every department in Parliament has a budget. And which budget is approved by
Members of Parliament.
Members of Parliament. And before it is used, but by the way, before the budget approved in Parliament is operationalized, it is assigned to by the President. That one, you know it. Okay?
Yes.
That is why, even for us here, when we approve budgets, before it is used, Mayor must sign to say, yes, this is what Council passed, I'm appending my signature. Then it becomes a working document. When the Mayor has not appended his signature, it doesn't become a working document. All these issues we are talking about, regional sittings, whatever it is, it was budgeted and planned and passed by Parliament. I feel sorry when I see members of Parliament, some members of Parliament making noise. It clearly tells you that these guys don't study, they don't scrutinize documents.
Could it be that these approvals were done without the notice or consent of their involvement?
No, but we have committees. And every budget comes to budget. Every budget comes to budget committee for scrutiny before it goes to plenary for final approval. Did you know that? So it is a process. My brother, you've seen Parliament sometimes empty. Ask yourself, where are the members of Parliament? But transactions are ongoing. People are deliberating. So some of them come, you always see Parliament full when there are critical issues. That's when you see the House is fully packed. But the question here is, where are your members of Parliament? He is talking about the quality of members of Parliament. Me and him participate in electing members of Parliament. So the question here is, where are these members of Parliament? When the Speaker is putting a question on critical issues, you see, even me, when I'm presiding over, if I want to put a question to critical issues to its logical conclusion, I say, members, honorable members, those who are in favor say aye, those who are against say nay. If I say the ayes have it, it is done. Now the question here is, what are you saying to the ayes? You're saying the ayes have it. What are you approving? The budget is a big document, my brother, even for us in council.
Now that brings me to the question, should we expect the quality of debate to improve during these regional parliamentary sittings? If yes, why and how?
Actually, to me, it is very good for the regional sittings to be there so that voters will know how their members of Parliament are conducting themselves and presenting them in that house. First of all, they have members of Parliament who have never opened their mouth. But because they are there, they get hidden. But when these sittings are brought to your region, my friend, you will be forced to raise an issue. Because now, he's talking about Gulu. For us, I can tell you, the stakeholders that were invited from West Nile region are going to be there. Whether you're from Obongi, whether you're from Maracha. Remember, you have your cultural leader, you have a religious leader, you have NGOs from your district or your constituency who will be there to see what is our member of Parliament going to say.
Okay.
You're getting it? So to me, I want us to understand, you cannot say that President Museveni was invited. The law allows Parliament to invite President. The President comes there as an ex-official. You're getting it? It is just like us. When we sit, we have a right to invite our member of Parliament, but he's not a member of council. He's not a councillor. He's not a honorable councillor. So the law allows us to invite our member of Parliament as an ex-official. Let him come and also see how we are deliberating issues. Let him come and pick issues from council and it takes to Parliament. But it does not even stop us, the Speaker, even if I am presiding over. I have to give him time to address council when it is ending. Remember, in Parliament, even in council, anyone who wants to speak, you will speak at the discretion of the Speaker. So let us not make everything so political.
We are going to be also really jetting back to Jackson. What do you expect out of these regional parliamentary sittings? Is it going to be improving on the kind of debate? Do you think our members of Parliament are going to be raising our issues?
Thank you very much.
Do you feel this is the right time for Northern Uganda to move out of maybe the bar line where they have been put down? Because many of us have been saying that we have been sidelined as a region. Do you think this is the time for us to address those grievances?
Thank you very much. I think what belongs to Northern Uganda belongs to Northern Uganda. For example, these Konyi war victims, the Joe peace talk has been held 20 years back. And they promised to compensate them under the leadership of His Excellency President Museveni. Now, do you want to tell me if this was supposed to be compensated? I think their money assembly is supposed to be put in their accounts from Kampala, in different banks. Now, do you want to tell me those of President Museveni and Speaker, they want to come from Kampala, and then they come and compensate these people from Gulu? So, in other words, I'm just trying to say that even if they sit in Gulu, even for 10 days, 20 days, the only thing Gulu they can benefit is to see a lot of soldiers, especially the SFC. So, my brother here, the Speaker of Central Division, he said they were looking for political clout. If a person who is land your land, you see, sometimes don't tell people to follow you. But if you're outspoken, you're outspoken. People follow you. That's why many people follow Semu Zunganda up to Orua. Up to villages, they follow Semu Zunganda. But he does not come here. So we don't look for political clout, but we speak the reality. Now, I don't think something much is going to change for northern Ugandans, even if these people have sit-ins. Because all these things are political. They said that if you see the demands of those people from Wacholi, their demands are majorly for people of Wacholi. And I want to inform my brother here that even these things are going to be presented by the committees. Now, the committee chairperson are the ones to go and present. Now, up to today, do you know that MPs and the MPs of Northern Uganda, this parliamentary caucus, Western caucus, Achuli caucus, Lango caucus, and Karamoto caucus, even they have not sat up to today. They have not sat. Meaning, it shows a lot of sign that these people, they are not interested. And money has been accumulated into their accounts. Others, they say they cannot go there because it's taxpayers' money. See the budget of healthcare this year. I was seeing the budget of Kijomoro and the one of Arua. The budget for individual, a drug budget for individual is 1,100 per drug. And yet, the dosage of Quatam is 5,000 Ugandan shillings. That drug, that money cannot buy a quarter dose of Quatam. Now, 5 billion is spent just for luxury. For what? And that has been the life of Museveni, together with his speaker. Now, I sympathize with my brother here, because they have been captives under President Museveni. Speaker is just trying to, in fact, is just trying to implement what Museveni says, because he cannot do anything alone. As an individual, he cannot say anything alone. He said here they can even invite their MP as an ex-officio. Everything is about interest. You cannot invite somebody when someone has no interest. You must have in the meeting first. Then Museveni made a statement in Bukedia. He said that Anita Among were trying to crucify her, but he's always behind her to protect her. Why do you think he makes such a statement? When you know this is a person who is leading corruption in Uganda. So I told you the worst they should expect is this. One, the soldiers are going to come there, they are going to intimidate people. Two, it's going to affect their business, because people who are around the counter grounds are being displaced.
But the hotels were all booked.
Yes, they are booked, it's fine. I know there are 966 rooms in Gulu, but I don't think that money, yes, they can get that money, but people who are around those playing grounds,
They were 90.
yes, they have been displaced. I don't know whether they are compensated. Even if they are compensated, that's still what we're saying, taxpayers' money being lost. Because it's not called for. Parliament is there, the August House is there. Why don't these people sit there? That's why we said Museveni is trying to look for another way to sneak, to do campaigns. And they are being confused that Moses is coming, Museveni is coming. I want to tell people here openly, and I want to be on record, that Museveni will be the one to contest.
Okay.
It's not his son. He's just trying to play games, and he's going to have these tours. He's going to be there all over.
That is not why we're here. Let me come back to Victor. They have made several accusations like it being political move. Can you defend this?
I want to
And
tell
how do you defend it?
see,
Because this has been
moderator,
termed by opposition as a political gesture and a political move.
moderator, why I'm laughing? I am laughing because when I see my brother here, Jackson talking, I can clearly tell you that he is nothing but political clout. I want us to discuss issues. When you call something wasteful, what does it mean? Secondly, he is saying it is a political...
Let me first stress something here, because where opposition is saying this is a bit wasteful is, I was able to see a breakdown of how 5 billion will be impacting to the region. Look at the facility, the infrastructure. To construct a ward would cost less than 5 billion, at least 1 billion would be going to putting up certain structures. Look at the road. If we channel this money to certain structures, it will have benefited a lot. This is where opposition is terming this as wasteful expenditure. But we're looking at the
Moderator.
5 billion, yes.
Moderator.
We're looking at 5 billion. Why is it that this is coming now at a time where the country is bleeding of corruption, where we still have members of parliament who are being interrogated for corruption? Why is it coming now?
Moderator, I want you to know one thing. Who sends the members of parliament to parliament?
It is the voters.
So where is the problem now?
The problem is people are complaining of corruption.
Two, who does resource allocation in parliament? You're talking about health centers, a ward, schools, whatever it is. The question here is who does allocation and approval?
It is parliament. But then why?
Now the question here should be, with the ordinary people, people like Jackson who is making noise, should make sure that next time they should send serious members of parliament. I am not going to blame members of parliament.
You're saying what we have there is unserious.
What I'm trying to say here is the members of parliament that we have there, they are a product of we.
Okay.
The members of parliament, they have that product there comes from us.
Okay.
So when we are making noise here,
We have not mentioned names.
when we are making noise here, we should also blame ourselves. You're telling me Suchi health centers, schools, my friend, we are the ones to blame. And secondly, if you know that our infrastructure of education and health are doing badly, he's talking about drugs, raise those issues to your members of parliament. Okay? When they come and have, we normally have baraza meetings here. Raise those issues to your members of parliament when they are in your regions, when they are in your constituencies. And secondly, I want to tell my brother here that parliament, you see that parliament that is sitting in Gulu right now, whatever they are doing is within the budget. Even if they want to do Manyanga, now let me inform him today. Even if they want to do Manyanga begins from the parliamentary process, budgeting. Okay? So my question here is, why is it that these MPs who are making noise, why were they not paying details to issues before approval of budget? Let me tell you, moderator, from today onwards, I want to give an experience from me as a honorable council. Before we approve our budget, my friend, you have to scrutinize what is the allocation in community department, what is the allocation in works, roads, what is the allocation in education, what is benefiting my people, what projects are coming to my people in these key departmental areas before it is approved. Now, like for me, I may not have an opportunity as a deputy speaker to deliberate, but I will influence those decisions, those figures at committee level through my friends and committee chairperson. I'll tell them, no, my road needs to be fixed. I need culverts. Make sure chairman works. This must be factored in your committee budget. You're getting it? So that by the moment anything that is going to be approved in council, I am in the know. That even if you ask me that in what was the budget for the youth, I will know. What was the budget for PW, I will know. What was the budget for special interest, I will know. What was the budget for the women, I will know. So I don't want to go and preside over a budget approval, yet I know that there are things that I don't understand. So members of parliament are raising issues, but you are the very ones who approve these things. Why didn't you raise them during budget scrutiny? The only member of parliament that I saw who raised issues, you're talking about service awards and people are making noise, it was Honorable Oguzuli. He said, Right Honorable Speaker, we are saying eyes, what are we approving? We are saying eyes to what? That tells you that the guy was sober, he was critical. Okay? He was sober and critical. But most of
we have room for appealing. If at all you're not satisfied about certain things, you have the room to appeal.
Now,
that is how they have been pushing up with the signatures.
No, it doesn't work like that. In council, once a resolution is passed, for you to undo it, you go back to council and pass another new resolution. In parliament, if they needed to cause changes, they needed to cause changes in this new financial year, this new financial year that we are in. They need to now pay attention to the details of each department, each ministry, each agency, to know what is in this MDA, what is in this ministry, what is in this department. You need to read and know the allocations, because if you don't read, remember, once you've approved, it is gone. Even the accounting officers will say, but you're making noise. Are you not the one who approved these things? That is why court ruling said the service award was passed by parliament, yes. and therefore, remember, by law, parliament, the separation of powers are very clear. Parliament just does legislation, and they do allocation.
That brings me to the question now, why didn't we allow this matter to be finally concluded from Parliament, other than being moved to judicial? Because that's where the people are saying there's some bit of doubt. There's something they're not understanding in there, because the matter was declared legal from court, not from Parliament.
Now listen, moderator. If, as an individual, if you're a member of Parliament or even a member of council, and you're not satisfied with the decision of the speaker is not final, you have a right to appeal. That's why those who got aggrieved went to court. You're getting it? So basically, that is what happened.
But then why did you allow this matter to be debated?
Where?
There's a blockage, according to the people who are trying to push this. There's a blockage somewhere in there. As we first debate away for a bit from the regional parliamentary setting a bit, because people who are objecting this are saying it is corruption where the country has actually eaten, and we saw actual planning to also remove in there. And recent police came out to say they are not going to tolerating any person who will be able to also march that is to Parliament in there, and that is how they would be in position to make sure that this is suppressed. Why don't you allow people to exercise that? Just maybe in 1 minute.
Well, one, they first of all, they have a right to exercise that, but that can only be allowed by the speaker. And two, if they wanted to raise it, I think the conduct, the manner in which they wanted to raise it also matters. Let me give an example. On the floor of Parliament, if you want to speak, the law says you must catch the speaker's eye. Even if you stand up, you must catch the speaker's eye, then the speaker picks you to speak. Now, when you stand up on your own, even if you have a very critical issue, an important issue that you want to raise, but you stand up on your own and you begin speaking on your own, as a speaker, I can rule you out of order, even if you had a serious and important issue to raise. So the issue is at times the conduct of members, how they conduct themselves, either in council or on the floor of Parliament. You cannot stand up and you begin talking just because you feel you have a critical issue. And let me tell you, you see, even in council, we have members who have serious issues when they want to raise, which may not be even on the order paper. Because remember, the order paper can be amended at any time, depending on the magnitude of the issue. If you want to raise something on the floor of Parliament, first of all, you must have a good working relationship with the presiding officer, who is the speaker. You go and say, hey, Honorable Speaker, you know what? There's this issue, they are critical, but they don't appear on the order paper. Remember, for the order paper to come out, for us in the council here, it's what we call the business committee. It comprises of the speaker, the deputy speaker, the town clerk, the clerk to council, and the 3 committee chairpersons and the deputy mayor, who happens to be the leader of government. In the Parliament, it is the speaker, it's the deputy speaker, it is the leader of opposition, it is the prime minister, minister of finance, and the 3 backbenchers. They form the parliamentary commission. Those are the people who decide what should appear on order paper of either Parliament. For us here, I have mentioned for you the people who are supposed to be there. Now, if you want a matter to appear on the order paper, you need these people I have mentioned for you. For the case of Parliament, you need the speaker, the deputy, the leader of government, finance minister, the prime minister, and the 3 backbenchers. You need to convince them why your critical issue must appear on the order paper. If you don't do that, you are done.
Okay, we are running out of time. We just left about 9 minutes to enter the discussions. But now I want to bring in Jackson. Recently, people who were criticizing this regional parliamentary sitting, most of whom are youths, have issues. What would be that main agenda these members of parliament should be able to front when it comes to issues pertaining the youth? What would be your main area of concern when it comes to this demand for the youth?
One, youth, the majority of the youth that are educated, but they are not employed. I think the issue of employment is the first thing for these youth. Because if you see these youth today of Uganda and the youth of yesterday, then if you think about Uganda of tomorrow, majority of our young people here, because of unemployment, they become hooligans. They just stay on the streets. They just hang along the streets. Now, what about their future tomorrow? Does our government think about this tomorrow? Now, today is our generation. What about the generation after us? So if this generation, they're not in power, they're not put well, I don't think things will be proper. So our government must look into the youth, especially in the issue of employment. 2, the government of Uganda also, they must, first of all, deal with the issue of corruption. Because up to employment sector, up to the offices, corruption is at its peak. And then the issue of tribal segments also at its peak. So these youths, if they are not employed, those especially those ones who are educated, and those ones who are half educated, there must also be some ways to empower them. If they're not empowered, it will be unfortunate. Okay. But my brother here, he was talking about the issue of the speaker. I want to tell him the Parliamentary Commission of Uganda today is under the control of the speaker. And the speaker is under the control of President Museveni. So there's nothing the Parliamentary Commission of Uganda can do apart from the directives of the speaker. So the Parliamentary Commission, they are just trying to implement the directives of the speaker. That's why they refuse to remove Matthias Mboga, because they know they eat together with those of Matthias Mboga. If you look into what these people, they work for themselves, every year for inland and outland visits, travels, they allocate 1 billion. 1 billion. 1,000, that's 1,000 millions. 1 billion they allocate for themselves. They allocate donation of 15 millions for themselves, for their constituencies. They allocate for themselves salary of 25 millions. On top of their own salary, with allowance can be up to around 45 millions or 50 millions. So these people, they're exploiting Ugandans. So my brother here, NRM has become a problem to Uganda especially. So when we were defending the speaker, I feel so bad. Because the issue of service award, if you go, even the person who took those of Matthias Mboga, Parliamentary Commissioners, into court, up to date, Daniel Wetebwene is not found. These were trying to look for him so that he can appeal, but the guy is not there. And then, according to the reports, that those of even about Daniel never appeared in court. But those of Parliamentary Commission, those of Matthias Mboga, they're the ones appearing in the court. So they took themselves in the court, they defended themselves in the court, and this is the type of government we're in. And for my young brother here, this government is in the evening hours. People like him who still want to go with NRM, and yet NRM is at the last hours. I sympathize, because when the next government will change, people like him will have to be part of the government. Okay. But it's very, very unfortunate. When I see somebody like him defending an old person, I feel very sorry. Always I tell you, can you tell the issue of how you date another lady? Can you discuss with your father? They say no. I say it means you must rhyme with your age. You must rhyme with the generation. So this big man is rhyming with the generation which is already phased out. My brother,
okay.
Welcome you.
We are going to give you Honorable, what is there for us as the youth, which you feel our members of parliament should front during this inaugural parliamentary sittings? Most especially one that will favor northern Uganda.
There are very many issues. One, they should front issues of skilling hubs. Let's have more skilling hubs, centers for young people. And I want to tell you, the issue is talking about unemployment. These are real issues. But young people need skills. If you don't have a skill, you can't earn a living. They need to be skilled. They need to know what. You go to town here and pick any young person and ask them what skill do they have. Hakuna.
But how many skilling centers do we have in West Nile?
That's what I am saying, that the MPs should make this an issue. Okay? We only have one skilling center, I think somewhere in Izombo. It's not sufficient for the region.
But there was one that was to be launched in the Road Center.
Which skill center?
Debate.
But the gist of the matter here is that we need more skilling centers, so that we need more people who can create their own jobs. Because I can tell you, I mean, the city council, we don't have jobs to accommodate every graduate by the. That's the truth. That is the naked truth. But we want a situation where young people have an opportunity, that they are skilled, they have knowledge, they have information, they have something that they can do on their own. That's the way to go, by the way. All governments all over the world provide an enabling environment for people to thrive, for people to do business, for people to use their talents, okay, to survive. Okay. So, for me, that should be the issue. You see, if anybody who says that Museveni is the problem of Uganda, then you are going to miss it. What happens tomorrow if he's not there? You think these issues of unemployment will not be there? You think issues of drug and abuse will not be there? The issue is not Museveni, the issue is us. The constitution, the law is very clear. Power belongs to the people. This young man comes from NUP. They say people power, our power. Exercise that power in mobilizing and making sure that you have majority members of parliament in that house. Don't come here lamenting, making noise, when the best thing you can do is put on a red tie and a suit, and you're not mobilizing people to go and vote. You are making noise on social media.
You know the government you are in.
No.
Exactly. You know the government you are in.
You are making
Government
noise on social media, but on the ground, you're not there.
Our time is running up. We're just left about 3 minutes. Maybe your expectations and final words ahead of today.
My expectation is that I expect the day should be a good and a bright one for northern Uganda at large and Uganda. I expect that the regional sittings will take consideration of serious critical issues affecting people in northern Uganda, be it roads, be it health sector, be it whatever it is, that critical issues will be taken into consideration, that our compensations of our people can be done. Our tobacco people have not been paid, okay? These are issues that we want to hear Parliament pronouncing itself. Why is it taking long? A directive was issued. Prime Minister was told to look for money, and the Minister for Finance. Why is it taking long? Critical issues that are supposed to be discussed. These are the issues that I am expecting in that regional sitting, because it is unique that it is now coming down to the people.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and we hope indeed Parliament should come down to the people, and that is how we are going to keep our eyes on ground today. Mr. Jackson, your final words for today as we get to another discussions.
Yes, my call to the MPs of...
Perhaps your recommendations.
Yes, my recommendation to the MPs of Northern Uganda is that they must discuss issues that are patent for Northern Ugandans, especially if you come, at least let them advocate for equality, because other regions are ahead of us, especially Western Uganda, they're ahead of us, Central Uganda, they're ahead of us. So they must advocate for issues that are patent, especially the one of the roads. We have very bad roads. We have poor schools. We have people who are not paid. The LRA war victims, they're not paid. A lot of things. The Northern Syndrome in Gulu, the hunger, the poverty we are suffering here in West Nile. A lot of things. So let them discuss things that are patent, and let them not show that they are incompetent. That's the only thing I can tell them. But to Ugandans, let us wake up. These regional sittings, I don't think they can be useful. But we ask the MPs, and then we ask the Parliament to make them to be useful.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, gentlemen, and I hope we shall be able to slowly have more of these discussions, and I hope you, the viewer, had a wonderful time with the discussion right from the time we began until this hour of the morning. My name is Majid, and up next is the news bulletin with Pepe Maneli. Goodbye.